Today on Rappler, the World Health Organization declares an international health emergency as experts say the spread of Ebola is inevitable. A Philippine state auditor testifies that non-governmental organizations of Janet Napoles broke all the rules. And Interior Secretary Mar Roxas remains the Liberal Party's standard bearer for now. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. The World Health Organization, or WHO, declares the killer Ebola epidemic an international health emergency. The outbreak continues to spread in West Africa. This declaration may put in place global travel restrictions to stop the contagion. The WHO warning comes as health authorities declare Ebola spread beyond West Africa, in its words, inevitable. Medical charity group Doctors Without Borders warns the deadly virus was now out of control with more than 60 outbreak hotspots. WHO head Dr. Margaret Chan appeals for greater aid for countries hit by the outbreak, the most serious in 4 decades. States of emergency are in effect across West African nations, including Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone. Ebola claimed at least 932 lives and infected more than 1,700 people since its breakout in Guinea early 2014. Scientists called for an experimental drug called ZMapp used on 2 infected Americans to be made available to African victims. The Americans are recovering. Spain also flew home the first European victim on Thursday, a 75-year-old Roman Catholic priest. Officials say he's in stable condition. The Philippine Health Department on Friday cleared 13 out of 15 overseas Filipino workers from Sierra Leone. Only 2 remain under observation. The non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, controlled by alleged fund diversion scam mastermind Janet Napoles broke all the rules. Commission on Audit, or COA, Assistant Commissioner Susan Garcia makes the assessment Friday as she takes the stand during Napoles' bail hearing. Garcia says NGOs can only be rightful recipients of the funds if they abide by the rules, which include a proper bidding process and an earmarked amount in the General Appropriations Act, or GAA. Garcia adds Napoles' NGOs disregarded budget circulars, COA, and government procurement rules, as well as relevant versions of the GAA. The Napoles NGOs were not in the list of authorized NGOs to transact with the government. A day earlier, State Witness Ben Hurloy testified that Napoles' house in Bulacan showcased rotting crop seeds and damaged fertilizers for state inspectors. Napoles, working with lawmakers, set up bogus NGOs to corner development funds. She's charged with plunder and graft, along with Senators Bong Revilla, Jinggoy Estrada, and Juan Ponce Enrile. Interior Secretary Mar Roxas remains the Liberal Party's only choice for standard bearer, at least for now. Senate President Frank DRILON, an LP stalwart, told Rappler a lot of things can still happen. DRILON acknowledges Roxas' poor numbers in contrast to Binay's strong standing in voter surveys, but adds he's still optimistic about the Interior Secretary's chances.
Right now, he's lagging behind, but let's see what happens in the next few months.
Who are other? Rehabilitation Secretary Panfilo Lacson says he will present a draft order to President Benigno Aquino outlining his role in post-Haiyan recovery. In a television interview, Lacson says he requested his legal team to craft an administrative or executive order to, quote, clearly define and clarify what oversight means. Lacson is limited to this role after finishing his main objective of creating a rehabilitation plan. He says he wants powers to investigate and file charges not only against the misuse of Haiyan funds, but also against implementing agencies stalling rehabilitation efforts. Lacson earlier said he was considering quitting his post, seen as severely limited in both powers and budget. Power distribution company MERALCO on Friday says electricity rates will increase by 31 centavos per kilowatt hour in August. Largely contributing to the hike are the wholesale electricity spot market, or WISM, billing adjustments from previous cycles. The increase in August power rates comes after a cumulative reduction of 86 centavos per kilowatt hour in May. MERALCO also hiked rates in July. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, kicks off a series of talks in Myanmar Friday as China faces demands to stop its aggressive behavior in disputed waters. Myanmar President Thein Sein begins the security dialogue with a plea for ASEAN to push for a peaceful settlement of disputes and differences. China claims nearly the entire South China Sea, believed to hold huge oil and gas deposits. ASEAN members Brunei, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Vietnam claim parts of the sea, with Taiwan as a sixth claimant. An early draft statement of ASEAN member nations calls for a cessation of destabilizing actions in disputed waters. Beijing's growing aggressiveness in the South China Sea recently sparked fresh regional tensions. China's positioning of an oil rig in contested waters with Vietnam last May triggered a wave of deadly anti-China riots in Vietnam. China then removed the rig. On Thursday, foreign ministers of Malaysia, Philippines, and Vietnam met informally to reinforce a joint stance on the South China Sea. Militant fire rockets at Israel minutes after a 72-hour truce between Hamas and the Jewish state ends Friday. The Islamic Jihad's armed wing, the Al-Quds Brigade, takes responsibility for firing 3 of the 10 rockets that targeted the Israeli city of Ashkelon. Palestinian factions in Gaza refused to extend the ceasefire with Israel, which expired 8 a.m. or 1 p.m. Manila time Friday. A senior Hamas official says Israel did not agree to end the blockade of Gaza, which was a key demand to end the 4-week conflict that has killed nearly 2,000 Palestinians. American warplanes are back in Iraqi skies. United States President Barack Obama on Thursday gave the go signal to launch targeted airstrikes against the Islamic State, or IS, formerly known as the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, or ISIS. The airstrikes will support Iraqi forces to break the terrorists' advance or to protect U.S. advisors working on the ground. Obama said, "We can act carefully and responsibly to prevent a potential act of genocide." The U.S. aircraft's first mission was to drop food and water to Yazidi refugees who fled as the town of Sarji was taken over by terrorists. Iraqi religious leaders say 100,000 Christians fled their hometowns as the Islamists advanced across Iraq. The terrorists also occupied churches, removed crosses, and destroyed manuscripts. Latest reports say IS jihadists captured the key Syrian army base Brigade 93 in Raqqa province Friday using a triple suicide bomb attack. IS now controls almost all of Raqqa and Deir ez-Zor provinces, strategic areas that border Iraq. Russia gives fugitive U.S. intelligence operative Edward Snowden a 3-year residence permit. It's the latest blow to Moscow's deeply strained relations with Washington. Snowden's lawyer says the fugitive will have to decide whether to continue to live in Russia and become a citizen or to return to the United States. Snowden is wanted in the United States on espionage charges. He shook America with a series of devastating leaks last year on mass surveillance in the U.S. and around the world. Tourists and locals brace for double trouble in Hawaii as a pair of hurricanes threaten to hit the islands. The rare event is expected to hit Hawaii Friday. Hawaii Island braced for Hurricane Iselle, which brings strong winds, heavy rain, and dangerous storm surges. Iselle is being trailed by another stronger hurricane, Julio. This 1-2 punch puts Hawaii at an even higher alert level, packing maximum sustained winds of 75 miles or 120 kilometers per hour. Iselle is 280 miles east-southeast of state capital Honolulu. Julio, the 4th major hurricane of the Eastern Pacific season, is about 1,000 miles east of the Hilo settlement. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 6, the World Bank downgrades growth forecasts for the Philippines. The new forecasts are below the Philippine government's growth targets of 6.5% to 7.5% for 2014 and 7% to 8% for 2015. Even with the downgrade, the growth projections are one of the highest in the East Asia region, second only to China. At number 9, Philippine conglomerates might be ready for ASEAN regional integration, but executives say the agricultural sector will have a tough time dealing with the changes. Analysts say regional integration is a double-edged sword for the Philippines. Lower prices of goods would benefit consumers, but could harm sectors like farmers and entrepreneurs. A couple who lost 2 children to the Indian Ocean tsunami, which struck Indonesia in December 2004, are reunited with their daughter. The girl was found 10 years later in Aceh when a relative saw a girl with a striking resemblance to that 4-year-old girl. Inquiries confirmed it was indeed the couple's lost daughter, assumed killed in the tsunami. The 7-year-old brother also survived, but it seems that a series of foster homes, the sister lost track of him through a series of foster homes. The reunion, seen by the parents as a miracle, sparked hopes they would also find their lost son. Indonesia says over 230,000 people were listed as dead or missing in the aftermath of the tsunami. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. One of Hollywood's most eligible bachelors, actor George Clooney, is a step closer to tying the knot. E-Online reports Clooney and his fiancée, lawyer Amal Alamuddin, obtain their marriage license. Tabloid site Delisted obtains a snapshot of the announcement at Chelsea Town Hall in London. The public posting is a legal requirement for European Union citizens like Alamuddin before marriage. The license is good for 12 months. Clooney and Alamuddin met in September 2013. They started dating in February this year and got engaged in April. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page. That crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that have affected our readers and viewers the most emotionally. If you take a look, these 10 stories have gotten the most number of votes on their mood meter. Interestingly enough, we have more politics. President Aquino's party bets on Mar Roxas. For now, we have 17% happy, 19% annoyed, and 33% amused. The happy vote picked up in this story you just heard. A decade later, parents find daughter lost in tsunami. A whopping 76% happy. Strangely, you still have this 3% angry. That red picked up in the story that's gotten the most number of votes today. 6 more years as president, a keynote to listen to his bosses. There seems to be a war on the mood meter for this story. Yesterday, this was happy, and now, today, you can see how close it is. 47% happy, and now 49% angry. The red bringing out the mood of the day. Today, most people are angry. Hopefully they don't stay angry for that long. It is Friday. That is Rappler's newscast for today, Friday. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.